feel so weird filming this right now. Anyways, let's start. My name is Stephanie. I hope everyone is doing okay out there. I know these are difficult times right now. I know it's been hard. I had a couple of hard months myself, so I know the struggle, and I just wanted to come on here and, you know, try to lighten the mood a little bit with everything that is going on. Like, this is the first time in months that I have put on makeup, and I feel like decent, somehow, somewhat decent. Okay guys, so from the title of the video, you know that I am pregnant, and I am so excited. Like, you don't even know how excited I am. This is something that I never thought possible, because I suffer from PCOS. From those of you who don't know, that's polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's different in every case. And a huge disclaimer, guys, I'm gonna tell you how I ended up pregnant, having PCOS, but that's my journey, my story, and I know everybody's different. PCOS is also, it is different in everybody. So, and I know there's people out there that are literally trying to conceive for like years, decades, and they're not able to, and I was able to, and I am so grateful. But like I said, this is just my journey, what I went through having this. Let's start from the beginning. So I was a really late bloomer. I got my period when I was 15 years old, and it was hard. It was hard because I discovered that I had PCOS when I was 16 years old, and during that year, guys, that was the worst year of my life. Hands on, that was the worst year of my life. So when I got my period, okay, whatever, I'm 15, I got my period, so I started noticing some strange things happening to my body. So I know this is TMI, but when I first got my period, I started noticing some like symptoms, like weird symptoms, that I was like, okay, I'm probably having this because it's my first time. Like, I didn't know anything about periods. Like, hello, I didn't know anything about menstruation. I was 15 years old, naive and dumb. So the first thing that I noticed was like my blood flow was awful. I'm telling you, like, I used to go through 6-7 pads a day, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about the overnight pads, you know, like the pregnant pads, those kind of pads. And that was the first symptom, and to me at that time I was like, okay, this is normal, it's my first time, probably like everything is coming out that needs to be out, and you know, I didn't know. So the second thing though was my cramps were extremely painful. I'm not talking about like, you know, you get it for like 1 hour during the day, the first couple of days. No, I'm talking about like, I was in high school at that time. I'm talking about like when I first got my period, my parents had to pick me up from school because the pain was so bad that I used to roll on the floor. I used to like cry, and I used to pass out. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, the pain was like incredibly bad. And another thing was, my face was horrendous. Like, I've never seen so many pimples in my life. Like, and I used to, like, I was moody all the time. my weight was like all over the place, and like my acne was incredibly bad. But the worst thing was that I used to get my period for like 2 to 2 weeks and a half. That's how long I used to get my periods for. And that's not the worst thing. The worst thing was that I used to get my period and it used to last me 10, 14 days, 17 days. And then a week later, I used to get my period again. So my period was all over the place. It was unstable. It was all over the place because I used to get it for like 3 weeks. Then it stopped for like a week and a half, and then I used to get it again. So yeah, I was in extreme pain and all of that. Those were all my symptoms. Like I said at the beginning, everybody's different. Probably some people experience different symptoms, I don't know, but those were mine. So my mom at 16, because that lasted for like 1 year, at 16 my mom takes me to the doctor, and she does her thing, you know. I don't know what she's doing. She checks me up, she does a sonogram, x-ray, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. So she does one of those things where she checks my ovaries. So she tells me, oh, okay, you have polycystic PCOS. And I'm like, okay, what is that? And she explained what it is. Basically, is when your ovaries has cysts inside of on them, and that's what causes the pain and the blood flow and all of that. Like I said, it's extremely different. In every case it's different. Like my sister also has it, but she gets like 2 or 3 big cysts that has to be surgically removed. Mine were like, when I saw it, mine was like a Christmas tree. It has like a bunch of little like dots, and she told me like every little dot is a cyst that you have on your ovaries. And I'm like, okay, is this bad? Am I gonna die? What can I do to improve? Like, what I wanted was for the pain to stop, for the pain to stop, and for my period to like normalize. That's what I wanted, for my period to be normal. So she tells me, okay, so the treatment for you is gonna be 3 months on the pill. We're gonna put you on the pill for 3 months, and then that's gonna cause your period to like be regular again, and that's gonna diminish the blood flow. Okay, but she tells me at that time, she tells me, also, just so you know, it's gonna be really hard for you to have babies, to get pregnant, so you better start early. Okay, I'm like, me, I'm 16 years old, I'm not thinking about having kids, so that's put on the back of my mind. And I didn't really think about that at that time because I was 16 years old. Also, she told me that in some cases you can get really like fertile, I don't know, you can get pregnant really easily, and in other cases it's really hard for you to get pregnant. I don't know how she knew that it was hard for me to get pregnant. I'm not a doctor. I was 16. I didn't ask. So she puts me on the pill, guys, and it was for 3 months. That pill, I lasted like 1 year on the pill. Why? Because there was like something in those pills, like one ingredient that used to make me so sick. I used to like, she used to change the pill because none of them, they were not working for me. So I remember the first pill used to make me, the minute I put it on my mouth, like 10, 5 minutes later, I used to throw it up. Then she changed the pill, and then that pill used to make me so sick, and so on, until she found the pill that I did take for 3 months, and it's called April. I still remember to this day, the pill is called April, and I was on that pill for 3 months. Okay, after that, it did kind of normalize my period, but not all the way. Meaning, I still have still to this day, I have a heavy flow, like blood flow, still to this day. It's really bad, but not as bad as it was when I was 16. Also, the cramps are still really bad, but not like when I was 16. So, but now the cramps are like only like the first couple of days, and before it used to be during the whole time that I have my period. Also now I only get my period for 7 days 7 to 10 days, where before it used to be like 2+ weeks. And what else? Yeah, so that's basically it. It's still bad, but not as bad as it was, so I'm okay. So me, I'm growing up, I'm 22 now, and then I start thinking about kids, babies, and then I start thinking about what she said, and not even start thinking about what she says. In my family, everybody knows that I have this problem, and everybody is telling me, when are you having kids, when are you gonna start, blah 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 blah. And that's always on my mind. This is always on my mind. Having kids is always on my mind. But I'm not gonna go and find a guy, the first guy that I see, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna have I'm gonna try to have a baby with you. No, I was gonna find the person that I was gonna spend the rest of my life with, and then I was gonna try to have kids. Because hello, of course. So I meet at that time my current I meet my husband today. And I actually knew him since I was 12, but when I was 21, 22 is when I realized we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and that's when I realized that I wanted to spend my whole life with him. So when I was 22, I start looking for kids. I know this is young, like 22 is really young for a person to have kids nowadays, because it is normal, but nowadays people tend to have or look for kids when they're like 27 plus, 30 plus, and stuff like that. So at 22, this is on my mind. I'm thinking I want kids. So I don't tell no one this. This is me. I don't tell nobody that I'm trying to have kids, because I am not protecting myself. My husband was not protecting himself, of course. So I was trying to have kids at that time. That's when my journey began. So every month when I used to see that I was not getting pregnant, I used to get so depressed, and it was really hard for me at that time, because it was not like I was not trying. Okay, my periods, I know they're not regular. Like, I don't get my period like at the end of the month every day, every month, the exact date. I don't get it like that. Now, like, it's kind of like normal. So I know that at the end of the month, one of those days, I'm gonna get my period. So I used to, you know, try to count the days that I was ovulating the most. I downloaded apps. I listened to people. Okay, I did exercise. I ate this. I did that. I did everything possible for me to get pregnant, and I couldn't get pregnant. And like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years rolled by, and I was still not pregnant, but I was constantly trying to get pregnant, and I was still not pregnant. So at that period of time, 3-4 years, people used to ask me, I remember people used to ask me, so you're not having kids? At that time I was at college, I was engaged to my fiance, and I was like, oh no, I'm not having kids right now, because why would I have kids right now? I'm in college, I'm still not married, and if I have kids, it's gonna set me back. That's what I used to tell people, for them to back off. Because, and in one way, it used to like, I used to tell that because I wanted to believe in myself. Like I didn't want it to be like, okay, I'm gonna get pregnant, because then at the end of the day, if I didn't get pregnant, then it was gonna be really hard for me. So I used to tell that to them and to myself. Okay, I don't want kids right now because of college, because of work, because of this, because of that, but I did want kids. I just didn't tell no one. So another year passed by. I have 4 years actively trying to get pregnant and constantly thinking about it. That's always on my mind. Like, I'm moody, I'm like it got into a point where I didn't enjoy sex, because I know this is TMI, but this is like what I went through. It got to a point where I did it not because of enjoyment, but because I wanted to get pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, it was a job to have sex. It was not enjoyment. You know what I mean? So 4 years in trying to get pregnant, I told to myself, you know what, this has to stop. This is not healthy for me. I'm being really depressed. I'm really depressed all the time. I'm just thinking about it, and every month when I get my period, it's just like the first couple of days I'm really sad. So this has to stop, and I'm just gonna forget about it. If it happens, it happens. I'm gonna leave everything to God, and if it happens, it's gonna happen, but I'm not gonna look for it, because it's not healthy for me or my partner. So I just stopped listening to people and to myself, and I just stopped thinking about it. And then another year rolled by, I get married, and then me not thinking about it, me not making a big fuss out of the situation that I couldn't get pregnant. Then one day I go to the doctor because I'm feeling really bad. Like, I feel like I am dying with a major headache. It was like a migraine. To that point, I had a migraine. I had like a few couple of days where I was throwing up and feverish, and I didn't know what was happening. I thought that I have a bug or the flu or whatever, so I went to emergency care, urgent care, something like that, urgent care, I think. So they draw blood, they asked me the regular questions, whatever, and the next day I come back for the results. And when they tell me, I go back by myself, of course, I think I'm sick. So when they tell me that I am pregnant, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I've been trying for 5+ years, constantly trying, and then the minute I stop trying, that's when I get pregnant. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you sure? Like, I made him double check. I don't know, it's all of it is like a blur to me right now. Sorry. So all of that, I think like I want to cry, but I'm not gonna cry. So all of that is like a blur to me right now. Like I couldn't process the information. So I didn't have any big reveal to my husband or anything. I was just like, you know what, I'm pregnant. And I showed him the results, and he was in shock too, because obviously he knew about my problem. I'm 24 weeks, so I'm 6 months. I'm gonna start my 3rd trimester. And let me tell you guys, it has not been easy. It's been a bumpy road, because I have a high risk pregnancy, of course. And let me know in the comments down below if you want to know what I've been going through these months with everything going on, and me being pregnant, and all the pain that I've been going through for my baby. But it's all worth it. I don't care. And like I said at the beginning, everyone's journey is different. I know 5 years for you guys may be like not enough time. You probably are thinking to yourself like, girl, like, come on, 5 years is not a lot. And there's people out there who cannot have children. There's people out there who's been trying for longer than you've been trying. But I just want you to know that this is my journey. This is what I've been going through. And for me, this has been like the hardest thing that I've gone through. I know for other people it's obviously different, but this is my story. This is my personal story that I wanted to share with you guys. So please don't judge me in the comments, and just try to be positive during this time. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoe, and you know, just be kind. That's all guys. My name is Stephanie, and see you in the next video. Bye.